Welcome to Jumbo Eyes and welcome back to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through 4 to 5 MCQs. Now, today we'll be covering the current affairs from 10th August 2024 and we'll be covering those current affairs through 4 to 5 MCQs. The basic purpose behind this lecture series is to cover your current affairs on a daily basis and to give you much needed MCQ practice because that is very important if you're serious about next year's prelims examination. Now, if you make this a part of your daily routine, if you make this lecture series a daily habit of yours, well, you won't realize this, but by the time you're ready for your prelims examination next year, you would have covered more than 1200 MCQs from current affairs alone. I'm not talking about static subjects. I'm not talking about MCQ practice from polity, economy, history, geography. No, just current affairs. So, as far as current affairs are concerned, you need not worry about them in for your prelims examination because you would have covered each and everything that could be covered from reading our day or from following our daily news and shorts lecture series and side by side by following this MCQ practice series. Okay, so I have made sure that as far as current affairs are concerned, you will never falter anywhere. You just have to follow this lecture. Okay, okay. Enough of the introduction. Now let's straight away jump to question number 1. Okay. Consider the following statements regarding Grameen Bank of Bangladesh. It was established in 1983 by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. It provides collateral-free, low-interest credit to poor, women, and socially and economically marginalized sections. The bank pioneers in microcredit and microfinance for the poor. Now, how many of the above statements are correct? Now, look, Muhammad Yunus is in the news because Sheikh Hasina has been ousted from Bangladesh and an interim government is put in place in Dhaka. And who is going to head that interim government? It's going to be Muhammad Yunus. Muhammad Yunus received Nobel Peace Prize in 2006 for establishing Grameen Bank. Now, what is Grameen Bank? Well, Grameen Bank is a bank that provides microfinance or micro lending. Now, what do we mean by microfinance? Well, micro means small, lending, we all know it means loans. So basically, this bank was established to provide collateral free, very low interest rate loans to poor people, disadvantaged sections of society so that they can escape poverty. Okay, because Muhammad Yunus was worried about poverty in his country, Bangladesh. Now, Grameen Bank was started in 1976 as a pilot project in Chittagong. Okay, but it was made a full-fledged bank in 1983. So this is correct. For this, Muhammad Yunus received Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. Absolutely correct. It provides collateral-free, low-interest credit to poor, women, socially and economically marginalized sections. Absolutely correct. And it pioneers in microcredit and microfinance for the poor. All three statements are correct. All right. Now let's jump to question number 2. Consider the following regarding systemically significant digital enterprises. These are big digital enterprises that have significant presence and ability to influence Indian digital markets. The Draft Competition Bill 2024, these enterprises shall be subject to significant antitrust rules. The Draft Competition Bill will be India's first antitrust law ever. Which of the above statements are correct? Now look, in 2024, Draft Competition Bill was released. In that Draft Competition Bill, it was mentioned that there are certain tech companies, big tech companies, which are so big that they can influence the entire market to favor themselves and disfavor small companies. So these tech companies are so huge that they can somehow bully smaller companies. Okay, smaller tech companies, smaller digital companies. Okay, now these tech companies, these big tech companies need to be regulated. So under Draft Competition Bill, they have initiated a concept or they have released a concept called systemically significant digital enterprises. So such big tech companies would be given the status of SSDEs, and these SSDEs would have to comply with additional rules and regulations so that they do not exploit their dominant market position. Okay, so these tech companies like Google, Facebook, and other big tech companies would be designated as SSDs. And once they're designated as SSDs, they would have to comply with additional rules, additional antitrust rules, competition rules, so that they do not exploit their dominant position. Okay, so first statement is correct, second statement is correct. Now, draft competition bill will be India's first antitrust law ever. No, India already has Competition Act. Okay, Competition Act 2002. So it won't be the first. In fact, India already has a Competition Act, which is India's antitrust law. Now, what is antitrust? Well, for that, you have to take a look at our current affairs video, daily news in shorts video. Okay, I've explained this in detail. Okay, so it is not the first. This is false. 1 and 2 only. Okay, let's move on to question number 3. Consider the following regarding privilege motion. This motion cannot be moved in either house of the parliament without the permission of the presiding officer. The Privilege Committee of Lok Sabha, which examines breach of privilege, has 15 members. Parliament till now has not made any special law to exhaustively codify all the privileges. Only MPs have the facility of these privileges. Okay. Now look, members of parliament or people who actually participate in the proceedings of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha have certain privileges. Okay. Two of those privileges are mentioned in Article 105 of our Constitution. One is that they have freedom of speech and expression, and second is that all parliamentary proceedings have the right to be published. Okay? So these two privileges are already mentioned, that parliamentary proceedings have these privileges. But all these MPs have certain extra privileges which are not mentioned anywhere. Okay? Parliament so far has not made any law which actually specifically writes these privileges down. Okay? Now, some privileges are known to people, but they are not written down anywhere. Some of these privileges are that you would never lie on the floor of the house, you would never misguide on the floor of the house because you are actually misguiding the honorable MP. So that is the breach of their privilege. Okay, so things like these. Okay, MPs won't be arrested from the floor of the house. This is also a privilege. All right. So these are the privileges. Now, if an MP feels that their privilege has been breached, they will actually initiate a privilege motion in the House, but that privilege motion will only be admitted by the permission of the presiding officer. Now, in case of Lok Sabha, you need the permission of Speaker. In case of Rajya Sabha, you need the permission of Chairman. Once the motion has been admitted, then that case will be referred to the privilege committee of that House. Okay, so first statement is correct. Motion cannot be moved without the permission of presiding officer. Once the motion is admitted, the case would be sent to privilege committee. Now, privilege committee of Lok Sabha has 15 members. Privilege committee of Rajya Sabha has 10 members. Just remember this. Okay, Parliament has not made any special law to exhaustively codify all these privileges. Absolutely correct. Now, it's not just the MPs who gets the benefit of these privileges. All the people who participate in the proceedings of Lok Sabha. So, for example, MPs participate in the proceedings of Lok Sabha. Sometimes unelected ministers participate. They also get these privileges. Attorney General of India, who's not an elected member, who's not a member of parliament, but sometimes participates in the proceedings of the House, they also get these privileges. So it's not just MPs, participants of Lok Sabha proceedings or Rajya Sabha proceedings have these privileges. So this is false. A. All right. And last, consider the following statements regarding Citizenship Amendment Act. It provides citizenship to all persecuted citizens of Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan. The rules for this act were released in 2024. Only those migrants who came to India on or before 31st December 2014 are eligible under this act. Now, Citizenship Amendment Act actually provides citizenship to persecuted minorities. Persecuted minorities, not all persecuted citizens, persecuted minorities of Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. So these are Muslim dominant countries, so minorities would be other religious minorities like Hindus, Parsis, Jain, Sikh, Christians. So they shall be provided citizenship under this new law. So not all persecuted citizens, persecuted religious minorities. Yes, these three countries, from these three countries alone. Okay. Now, this act was enacted in 2019, but the rules were framed in 2024. That's correct. And only citizenship to those migrants who came on or before 31st December 2014 would get citizenship under this act. Others would have to go through the normal process. So this is also correct. The answer would be B. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I hope it added value to your preparation, though it would add more value if you're consistent and regular with this lecture series. As soon as I upload this video, you have to watch it. You have to solve these MCQs along with me. Only then it will make some difference as far as your current affairs preparation is concerned for next year. All right. On that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you next time with the MCQs from 12th August.